Hello everybody, welcome back to the latest edition of Graham Hunt Limited walk around presentations. Today we've got a lovely 1963 Mercedes-Benz 220 SEB Cabriolet. Couldn't really have picked a better car for the weather today. It's stunning. Look at that. Blue skies, trees in full bloom, and the lovely tan leather interior and silver paint on this suits that very, very well indeed. Now we're going to quickly try and crawl underneath the car and just give you an idea for her underpinnings. It's a bit tricky to do this kneeling down on the floor in the park, but hopefully it gives you an idea of how solid she is underneath. You're probably expecting, especially as you look at this floor here, that I'm going to tell you she's freshly restored, and that's still, I mean, she is freshly restored, but the restoration was finished in 2013, and subsequently she's just been looked after to a very exacting standard by the most recent owner, who bought her in 2013, pretty fresh off of her restoration. The restoration was a very long one. It took 6 or 7 years. It was a real labour of love. The car went back to a bare shell. The chassis was done, the suspension was done, the engine was done, the gearbox, the body, the interior, everything. I mean, it's a full, complete nut and bolt rebuild, and it was done to a really high level, and you can see that because of how well she's lasted. You can see the plugs in the door shut there for the wax oil to go in, future-proofing the car. She's on file. It must be close to 1,000 photographs that have been taken during the restoration of every stage going through, the engine going back in, the car when it was a bare shell, paint, stripping, suspension, as I mentioned, and it's all on photograph. I haven't counted them up, so please don't fact check me, but I estimate it's around 1,000, if not just a few less than 1,000. See here now, she really does sit beautifully on the road. I mean, completely level. She drives like that as well. It's a real pleasure to drive her. You'll see again underneath the car here from the rear, fuel tanks like new, floors like new, the fuel lines, the brake lines, everything is like brand new. And that's why she feels so good to drive, because she is. I really do like the color combination as well. Very classic Mercedes-Benz with the silver and the tan, but it just looks really good on the car. I don't know if I mentioned, but as a right-hand drive UK supplied car, she's one of the rarest Mercedes-Benz, post-war Mercedes-Benz you can own. I think 192 or 197, depending on the literature, were produced in right-hand drive. So it's really one of the rarest Mercedes-Benz possible to own. And super, super lovely as well. The carpets are really thick, the leather's really supple. It's just got everything that you could hope for in a car like this. The hood operates perfectly. Good door shut there as well. Engine, 2.2 litre inline 6 in the 220 SEB, hence the name. Very well known Mercedes-Benz engine, very reliable and dependable. Fuel injection, of course, in 1963, quite forward thinking really. And everything is very fresh, very clean, very lovely. Just sort of spend a bit of time in here so you can see the quality of how well it was done. I really do mean the hood's easy to operate as well. It's a sticking point with some of these sorts of cars. If they're manual hoods, they can be difficult to operate, and if they're automatic hoods, they go wrong all the time. But I did it myself as I was leaving the showroom this morning to get to the park. It's a 5-minute drive, and it took me probably 45 seconds from when I unclipped the first clip on the window frame on the windscreen to when I got the roof down, and then another minute and a half to do the hood bag. All the poppers line up. It's really easy, it's fresh, it's lovely, it's just a really pleasurable thing to use, much like the car is. Turn her over and fire her up, first time, every time. Another lovely dainty period thing is the gear selector on the steering column here, which just takes you back in time. It's almost like you're using the stylus on a record player as opposed to pressing play on your iPod. It's just got that 1960s charm to it as we head back to station.